Welcome to Sacred Wandering with Keira Brinton. My friend, this is a corner of the world where time stops, where the noise in our minds quiet, where we have soft hearts and we open our palms and we ask. This is a place where we receive. I invite you to join me as we wander through the sacred together. Welcome to Sacred Wandering. Good morning, my love. I welcome you into this space. Into this space of peace, into the space of devotion and stillness. So we're going to begin today by breathing love into ourselves and breathing fear out. We're going to breathe in love. We're going to breathe out fear. Breathing in love. And out fear. Let's do one more in. And out. We're going to call in all of our angels and our guides in into the divine light to come and sit with us, to hold space with us, to show us exactly what needs to be given to us today. We're going to ask that light may cleanse our ears, that our ears may tune to the frequency of the voice of God, that we may hear the messages that God has for us. We're going to ask that light may cleanse our third eyes, that we may have access to all of our spiritual gifts. Then we will ask that our lips may be cleansed and cleared, that we may speak the words that God has called us to speak. We're going to breathe in, and we're going to breathe out. Today I'm going to share with you a message that I received in my prayer corner. It's one of my favorites because oftentimes we miss the beauty around us. And this is a reminder. These are the words that I received. Wonders never cease, even when it's not the wonder you are seeking. Today your job is simple. Take note of every wonder you see. Gather them like seashells in your pockets. See them. Hold them. And joy will fill you to the brim. So often our brains are wired to see the problems. Our brains are wired to see what's not working. But whatever we look for, we find. Whatever we are finding, we gather more evidence of. And so when we are looking for problems, we find more. And as we gather more problems, then it gives us evidence of our life not working. But vice versa, if we are seeking for wonder, then we gather wonder. And as we gather wonder, then we gather more evidence of a life filled with miracles. And so today, just today, I invite you to gather wonder. That as you walk around, you get to find the wonder. You get to see the miracles that are around you and let them move through you. And let them be the evidence that builds from the life that you have. So today, as we go into prayer, I invite you to pick up whatever problem is clouding your vision of finding miracles. So you're going to pick it up and we're going to put it into God. And I want you to let yourself release that problem. You see, we become attached to problems because in some way they promote the story of our life. And so the problems that we have, in a sense, support the stories that we live out. And usually the stories that we live out aren't magical. They're usually stories of not being enough or not being loved or things that are of lower vibrations. And so these problems support our stories. And most of the times we don't know who we are without our stories. And so we become attached to the problems. And so as you give this problem over to God, I invite you to fully surrender your attachment to it. Whatever story is keeping it magnetized to you. We're going to breathe in and out. There we go. On that final breath, just let it all the way out, letting go of the attachment to this problem. And then remember, my favorite quote is, every problem leads us to the next right opportunity. And so we're going to ask that God will transfigure and transform this problem into an opportunity, opening up new pathways for wonder, brilliance, miracles, light, peace. And then we're going to ask that God will touch our cells, and our cells may match the frequency of God, that we may be able to live in a higher vibration, the vibration of wonder and ease and miracles. We're going to ask that God will place his hands on our head to give us a blessing. And I invite you to open up to receive whatever words are going to activate a new opening and a new path for you. And I'm going to be quiet while you pray and receive. You're going to take a nice deep breath in, letting those words move down through the body, allowing them to create new pathways inside of your DNA, inside of your cellular structure, which creates different results on the outside. And so we're going to allow those pathways to be opened within and then without. And today I invite you to open the palms of your hands and ask that God will give you your next step. What is the most important action that you need to do today? Opening those palms and listening and receiving, and then writing it down. And then we're going to call on your angels that they may walk with you today, that your burdens may be lighter, that your feet may be guided, that your eyes may be clear, and your heart soft. that today new doors appear, new pathways underneath your feet are given, and that wonder fills your being. And with that, I thank you for wandering into the sacred with me. And I will see you tomorrow morning in our prayer corner. Thank you for wandering into the sacred with me today. If this episode moved or inspired you, I encourage you to share it. Think of someone who needs this message today and text it to them. Let's add more light to the world by welcoming people into our prayer corner together. I also want to invite you to create your own prayer corner at home, a space set apart where you can return again and again to hear God's voice. To support you, I've created the Sacred Space course, which guides you step by step in locating, creating, and dedicating your very own sacred space. You're also welcome into the Sacred Wandering Facebook group, where you can share the blessings that God is giving you and be uplifted by others walking this path. You can find both of these resources in the show notes, or just send me a DM on Instagram at Keira Brinton, and me or my team will send them directly to you. I want to thank you for being one of the rare humans who chooses to sit at the foot of God, to ask, listen, and do. And as always, I want to thank you for wandering into the sacred with me.